Hello, welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. It's the final day of the new Champions League phase where all 36 teams have been put into one league table and only 24 can avoid elimination from the competition. One of the teams fighting for a spot to survive are the 4-in-a-row Premier League champions Manchester City. Anything else other than a win means they will not be in the knockout stages of this competition for the first time since 2013. And in this huge fixture, they take on Belgian champions Club Brugge, who have booked a spot in the playoff round of the Champions League. Guardiola's side come into this game off the back of a 3-1 win against Chelsea after going 1-0 down inside 3 minutes. City have started to pick up form in the Premier League with no defeats in their last 6, but in the Champions League they have not won in any of their last 4 games against PSG, Juventus, Feyenoord and Sporting Lisbon. Club Brugge are full of confidence at the moment. They are 20 unbeaten in all competitions, and including that is 15 wins and 5 draws. And a draw at the weekend has left them in second place in the Belgian League, but in the Champions League they have beaten the likes of Sporting and Aston Villa and have picked up points against Celtic and Juventus in draws to help them progress through in this competition. The Belgian side did have success in Europe last season. They reached the Europa Conference League semi-final, but were beaten by Fiorentina. These two have met before. They've met twice in the Champions League group stage in 2021, with City winning at home 4-1 and away by 5-1. But can the Blues get the job done tonight, where only a win can save them from an embarrassing Champions League eviction? And it's crazy to think only in 2023 were Manchester City crowned champions of the Champions League for the first time in their history. And in this new league phase format in the Champions League, they're on the brink of elimination. It's crazy to think they didn't get off to the worst start in the competition. Their opening 3 games, they drew 0-0 at home to Inter Milan, then beat Bratislava away 4-0, then Sparta Prague at home 5-0, which of course the Bratislava and the Sparta Prague matches, of course, easier games that City should have been winning, and they did. And don't get me wrong, the last 4 where they've not won any of them, they've not been the easiest of fixtures, but City should have picked up more points than they have. You know, that 4-1 away loss to Sporting Lisbon at the time, it was Ruben Amorim in charge. You know, they were 1-0 up in that game. And then the 3-0 lead they had against Feyenoord in the game after, in game week 5, where they ended up drawing 3-all. It's not just so out of character. It just can't be happening to any team that have the players and the stand and the stature of Manchester City. You're 3-0 up at home in a Champions League fixture. You cannot be going on to draw that game. But they did, and then the last 2, they've been probably the hardest 2 games on the list, maybe including that Inter Milan game at home, and they were beaten 2-0 away against Juventus, which we commentated on. And yeah, that was a game to me that just really showed Manchester City to look leggy. They looked really tired and just not the Manchester City we know. And Juventus picked up quite an easy win, really, in that game. They defended pretty solidly, and then when they attacked, they did look like scoring, and they took 2 of their chances and took the 3 points. And then that PSG game last week, I mean, again, talk about throwing away a lead, and to be fair, it's not even like they exactly deserve that lead. You know, Grealish scored in the 50th minute, Haaland in the 53rd, and the 2-0 up, and it looks like there's going to be no real worries of qualifying for at least the playoff stage of the competition. But then an absolute collapse. I mean, Dembele scored in the 56th minute, Barcola scored in the 60th, and then Neves completed the comeback in the 78th minute with in fairness, a beautiful diving header, unmarked, poor defending, but a really well taken diving header. And then the points were officially wrapped up when Gonzalo Ramos scored in the 3rd minute of added on time. Bit of a lengthy VAR check for that one, but it was deemed that the last touch came off a City man, and that played him through. That means he wasn't offside, and he put it into the back of the net. But I mean, the stats in that game, PSG had 26 shots to Manchester City's 9. PSG had 9 on target to Manchester City's 6, and PSG had 64% of the possession as well. Thoroughly deserved the win, and yeah, it does leave Manchester City in a predicament where they simply have to win. A draw and they are out, a defeat and they're out. They've got to win this game, and if they do, they are through. And that just kind of parks the Champions League stress to a side just for a moment until the playoff round creeps up on Manchester City, because of course I think the Premier League ambition for this season now, with the state they're in, is just to qualify for the Champions League again. Obviously, 12 points off Liverpool, who are first, and they've also got a game in hand. I think Manchester City just want to get top four and maybe go for the FA Cup. And of course, if they can stay in the Champions League, they'll believe they can win it, because that's the type of squad they are. They've won it already. They'll want to win it again, and they'll believe they've got the quality to do so. But they'll come up against a Club Brugge side tonight who are 20 unbeaten in all competitions with 15 wins and 5 draws. Their last loss in all competitions was in the Champions League. It was a 3-1 away defeat to AC Milan back on the 22nd of October, and their last defeat in the league was a 4-2 defeat to Ghent at home back in mid-September. So it won't be an easy game. Of course, the Belgian league isn't quite the Premier League, but the fact that they're also unbeaten in their last 4 Champions League games is really impressive, because they've beaten Aston Villa in game week 4. They drew 1-1 away at Celtic in game week 5. They then beat Sporting Lisbon at home in game week 6, and then drew 0-0 in the last game against Juventus, where it was an even game in terms of shots. They even had more shots than Juventus that day at Club Brugge, but didn't work any on target, which will have to change tonight if they want to take any points from this game. Of course, for Club Brugge, they don't have to win, they don't have to draw, they can still go through without picking up points, but it would definitely certify their place into the playoff round if they can at least pick up a point as minimum at the Etihad tonight, as both sets of starting 11s do enter the pitch, being led out by tonight's referee of Jose Maria Sanchez, the 41-year-old Spanish referee who became a FIFA-listed referee back in 2017. So we'll go through both sets of starting 11s here just before we do kick off. And we'll start with Manchester City, who make 2 enforced changes from that starting 11 against Chelsea at the weekend. Ederson remains in goal. He has played now the last 5 Champions League games, including tonight. A back 4 of Mateus Nunes, who makes his 20th appearance in the competition. At left back is Josko Gvardiol, who scored at the weekend against Chelsea, and he makes his 75th Manchester City appearance. And 2 centre-backs are returning. John Stones, who's just starting to make his way back from injury once again, and alongside him is Manuel Akanji, who is played 6 Champions League games so far this season. He was injured for the one against Juventus in the middle of December. 2 older midfielders of Mateo Kovacic, who makes his 75th appearance in the Champions League. Alongside him is İlkay Gundogan, who's making his 75th appearance in this competition for Manchester City. And in behind the striker will be Kevin De Bruyne, who's actually scored a hat-trick against Club Brugge, and it was when he was playing for Genk. It was in a 5-4 away win back in October 2011. On the right-hand side will be Bernardo Silva, looking for his 70th Manchester City goal. On the left is Phil Foden, who's 3 away from a century of goals for his boyhood club. And leading the line through the middle is going to be their Icelandic goal-scoring machine of Erling Haaland. He's got 47 Champions League goals in 46 appearances, 24 goals in 27 of them for Manchester City. And for Club Brugge, they make 1 change from the weekend, and it's at left back. But in goal will be Simon Mignolet, the former Liverpool man. He's taking on Manchester City for the 19th time in his career. At right back will be Joaquin Saiz, who can also play left back, the young 19-year-old defender. At left back will be Maxim de Kuiper, who is making his first ever season in the Champions League. He's played every minute so far for Club Brugge in this competition. And 2 centre-backs of Joel Adonis, the 20-year-old Ecuadorian, and the more experienced Brandon Mekela, who has signed a new 3-year deal back in May of last year. He's never played outside of Belgium. 2 older midfielders of Rafael Onyedika, who came in for €9 million from Midtjylland in August 2022. Alongside him will be Arden Yashari, who was brought in the summer from FC Luzern for €6 million. 3 behind the striker on the right will be Şezdaim Talbi. On the left is Christos Zolis, who was brought in from Dusseldorf in the summer. He's got 12 goals in all competitions, one of them in the Champions League in their 1-0 away win against Sturm Graz in game week 2. And in behind the striker is their forever present captain, Hans Van Aken. He has got 1 goal previously against Manchester City in that 5-1 home defeat against them back in October 2021. And leading the line through the middle will be Ferran Jugla, who they brought in for €5 million from Barcelona back in the summer of 2022. He made 9 first-team appearances for Barcelona in his 1 year at the club. He scored twice against Elche in December 2021 and in a cup fixture against Linares in the January of 2022. They are the 2 starting 11s, and we're about to get underway at the Etihad. It'll be Club Brugge kicking right to left. It'll be Manchester City left to right for the first half. It will be Club Brugge to kick off. They are in the home kit of that kind of black and blue mix, and obviously Manchester City in their home kit of the sky blue as Club Brugge get us underway here at the Etihad Stadium. A win is all that City need. Anything less and they are out of the Champions League. Club Brugge go long from the throw-in, and it's seen out by Matheus Nunes for City at right back for a throw-in for the home side. An early goal would definitely ease pressure for Pep Guardiola's side, but Club Brugge are 20 unbeaten at the moment. They will not be an easy pushover as Matheus Nunes sends the throw-in towards the halfway line, headed away from Haaland, and it's in the midfield for Club Brugge with Van headed back by the volley of the number 30, Yashari. Club Brugge try and play out from the back here. It's going to get the timer set up as Club Brugge have the ball in their own half at the moment. And it's gone across to the right centre-back of Joel Ordonez, who's made 4 appearances for his country of Ecuador. As they are playing out from the back nicely here. Heavy touch though, and it's pounced upon by Mateo Kovacic, who wins it back for Manchester City there off Club Brugge's number 8, Christos Zolis, who scored 24 goals last season at Dusseldorf on a loan move. He then joined permanently in the summer to Dusseldorf, and then they sold him a couple of days later to Club Brugge for €6.5 million. But just a heavy touch from the former Norwich man means that City have the ball in the centre circle with Manuel Akanji, who is looking to try and break through this Club Brugge defence. Everyone behind the ball for them at the moment as City try the far side here with Phil Foden going back to Josko Gvardiol, who's enjoying his best scoring season in the Premier League for Manchester City. He scored 4 in all last season, and they all came in the last 7 games. He's on 5 at the moment, including that one at the weekend against Chelsea, to get City back level. As Bernardo Silva on the right wing in the final third, onto his left foot, playing it backwards here to Nunes, then back out wide to Bernardo Silva. He's got De Bruyne down the line. He'll find the Belgian, who will cross it first time. It's a slight deflection, and there's a volley away here to Zolis for Club Brugge. He's holding it up against Nunes. They've worked it to the left back here now of De Kuiper. It's now Mekela, the left centre-back, left-footed ball high up towards the striker. It's flicked onto Zolis, and he's beat the offside trap, and he's through here on the left-hand side. As he enters the box here, the number 8, the angle's tight. He'll pull it across, and the volley towards goal, and it's blocked by Gvardiol. Still alive here for Zolis as it deflects to him. Onto his right foot, goes for the shot, well defended by Gvardiol. And Bernardo Silva flicks it to De Bruyne. A first-time pass comes off Yashari, and that's a huge let-off for Manchester City in the opening 2.5 minutes. A long ball from the centre-back Mekela, and it was a flick on, I think, by the striker Ferran Jugla, which led Zolis through on his own. And Pep Guardiola did not like that at all. An unnecessary big chance given to Club Brugge there by the home side, who've got 5 wins in their last 10 in all competitions since the Derby Day defeat. On the halfway line again with Manuel Akanji, who's making his 125th Manchester City appearance tonight, joined for £50 million a couple of seasons ago from Dortmund. What a bargain he's been for Manchester City. It's De Bruyne on the right-hand side, playing it through for Stones, who's forward from centre-back, and then first-time touch to Bernardo Silva on the right wing. Can he take on the full-back? No, he can't. Well defended by De Kuiper, who will keep it in and go short to Yashari, keeping himself in front of Bernardo Silva, and gets away from De Bruyne, slides towards the ball to keep it in and kicks it forward to Zolis. It's now well built up here. They can knock the ball around nicely, Club Brugge. It's with Onyedika, the central midfielder, who finds Ordonez, who will go for a ball over the top here down the right-hand side. It's a header won by Gvardiol, ahead of the right winger Talbi, the Belgian winger, former Belgium under-18 international. And City, again, being shown here by Club Brugge that the Belgian side can play good football. And for Manchester City, within 90-minute games, they are unbeaten in their last 33 home games in the Champions League. Of course, if you exclude that defeat on penalties to Real Madrid last season, that's 28 wins and 5 draws, even though 3 of the last 4 have been draws. And the last time City lost in the Champions League at home within 90 minutes was against Lyon in September 2018, and that was when Mikel Arteta was on the touchline for Manchester City. Pep Guardiola was serving a ban, and the last game they lost here at home in the Champions League with Guardiola on the touchline was in the quarter-final against Liverpool in 2018. So, on that basis, it's odds on for Manchester City 3 points here. As Bernardo Silva on the right wing in the final third goes backwards here to Nunes. City, of course, like to keep the possession. We're just over 4.5 minutes in. It's Club Brugge who have had the biggest chance so far with Zolis breaking for them, but didn't quite materialise to anything as Bernardo Silva tries ball into the box for the run of Gundogan, cut out there by Mekela, and his clearance is kicked out of play, throwing for Manchester City, still in the final third here. Good defending there from Mekela to beat De Bruyne to it, who gets it from the throw-in towards the corner flag, tries to kick it off Yashari, but it goes through here to De Kuiper. It's now Zolis, the left winger, ball forward here to Jugla, holds it up nicely and finds Onyedika, who goes for a ball over the top here to Talbi. That's a brilliant ball, and it'll find the winger. He's one-on-one with Gvardiol in the final third on the Club Brugge right-hand side. He'll go for a ball in which deflects into the 6-yard box, and it's well caught by Ederson. Showing what they're about here. Club Brugge, the champions of Belgium from last year, yet to win a European title in their history. They're currently under the management of Nicky Hayen, 44-year-old Belgian coach. Taking charge of his 50th Club Brugge game, was in interim charge from March 2024, then took on the job permanently in the summer. As with Kovacic, everyone behind the ball for Club Brugge, they do understand, even though they can play some good football, that it is going to be Manchester City who will be dominating the possession. They've got to try and stand tall and stand strong for as long as possible, because they'll know they'll have chances on the break, like they already have in the opening 6 minutes of this game. It's still 0-0 at the Etihad, and they're still the same result needed, a win. It's out on the far side here to Phil Foden. He's got Gvardiol on the angle to his left. He'll try and go around the defender and put a cross in, which is blocked by that defender of whacking Saiss, the 19-year-old Belgian right-back, who's got a contract until 2028, signed it last month. And he concedes the corner. Just over 6 minutes in, still 0-0. We'll try and keep up with other games around the grounds, as Villa are already 2-0 up at home to Celtic in 6 minutes. Both goals coming from Morgan Rogers. And PSG look to have took the lead against Stuttgart away from home, which is what Manchester City could do with, because they could overtake Stuttgart if they end up winning this game. As from the resulting corner, it's an outswinger in towards Akanji. It's glanced away from there by Mekela, and it'll be kept alive by Kovacic, who takes it out to the right-hand side here. He's got Gvardiol in support if he wants to go forward, but he ends up going back here towards the centre circle to the number 19 of Ilkay Gundogan, who rejoined on a free transfer from Barcelona in the summer after a previous 7-year stay at Manchester City, captaining the side to their only Champions League. As with Núñez in that right-back position, midway side of Club Brugge half, goes to his left into a more central area to De Bruyne. Now to the far side to Gvardiol, linking up with Phil Foden, who will cut inside here, the number 47, and find a ball to his right to Kovacic. Quickly moving it from Stones to Akanji. Waiting for the right pass here, the Swiss international. Manuel Akanji plays out to the right here to Núñez. Furthest wide is Bernardo Silva. He's got everything to his left here as he runs at De Kuiper. Still not in the 18-yard box at the moment as he gets onto his left foot. Being forced away from goal here by the full-back. It's good defending at the moment, but he's twisting and turning here, Bernardo Silva, and he still has it. Bit of movement off the ball as he decides to keep hold of it for now, then goes to his left again to Akanji. Now Gvardiol on the far side, again working it to Phil Foden, not for the first time. He's going to run at Saiss, if possible. Goes back inside instead to Gvardiol. It's now Akanji midway inside the Club Brugge half, lifting it back out wide to Phil Foden, who brings it down beautifully. Doesn't fancy running at Saiss again. It's now with Kovacic, making his 75th appearance in the Champions League, as mentioned before. Yet to score, though, in the competition for Manchester City since joining last season for £30 million. Being forced back here to the halfway line, Manchester City, away from the 18-yard box. It's good pressing from Club Brugge, despite the fact they still don't have the ball. It's out on this near side with Núñez, who's starting to become a bit more familiar with that right-back position. He's been asked to play by Guardiola, currently keeping Rico Lewis out of the starting 11 as Núñez completes a 1-2 Bernardo Silva, then pulls it back into the box for De Bruyne, plays it out of the box to Bernardo Silva to keep the ball moving. It's now in the middle of the park to John Stones, about 30 yards from goal. Into Núñez on the angle, who will put a cross into the box. It's a header away, controlled by Kovacic, and it's now back out to the City right with Núñez, finding Bernardo Silva. Running at De Kuiper, cutting inside and finding Stones, who then returns the ball to Bernardo Silva. It's now Kovacic, everyone behind the ball for Club Brugge, just showing how deep they are sitting in within their own half. Still with the number 8, Mateo Kovacic, who impressively speaks 5 different languages. He's been at plenty of clubs in his career, like some Inter Milan, Real Madrid and Chelsea as well. Big pedigree clubs as Phil Foden puts a ball in towards the far post. It's kept in. It's been glanced back by Haaland to De Bruyne, who puts a ball across. It cannons off Bernardo Silva and cleared into the air there by Zolis. but there was an offside flag up in there anyway, or is it a goal kick? Not quite sure. I think the Phil Foden cross actually went out of play and then swung back in play. So just less than 10 minutes in, it's Manchester City 0, Club Brugge 0, and no big chances yet for the home side, and Club Brugge have already showed how they could cause some issues on the counter-attack for Manchester City. Of course, last season we knocked out the quarter-final stage by Real Madrid, as it's held up here by Jugla, the striker for Club Brugge. He's out on the far side to Talbi, running at Gvardiol, playing it into the middle, looking for Van Aken. Poor ball towards the edge of the box, cleared into the air by Akanji, headed down the line by the right back, Saiz for Club Brugge, and helped on once more to Talbi towards the corner flag. He's going to have to cross it here to the far post, where it'll be an easy catch for Edison. And again, Club Brugge finding themselves in a half-decent position within the Manchester City half. As for Club Brugge, they picked up no wins in their first 3 in the league, a draw and 2 defeats, but they've quickly turned that around, and they're now thus 3 points off top in second place in the Belgian league. As Phil Foden, about 10 yards inside the Club Brugge half, goes back to the halfway line to Josko Gvardiol, who scored 5 in all competitions last season, and that's the tally he's already on for this season. A constant goal threat, the Croatian, now 23 years of age. De Bruyne plays it down the right-hand side into the box for Gundogan, who will get there first. He goes over the challenge a bit too easily, and he goes out for a goal kick, well defended there by Brandon Mekele, who joined at the age of 6 to Club Brugge. He's always played his football in Belgium. He's played 32 previous appearances in the competition, the number 44, and he's not scored yet, back racking over well over 460 appearances for the club, but wearing a face mask tonight as well. Brandon Mekele, as he goes forward with a ball, and it's laid off to Van Aken, who tries to return it towards Jugla, but it's well intercepted there from Manchester City and Bernardo Silva. It's now John Stones in the central midfield position, wanting to go out wide to the right, but having to turn the other way as he's being pressed by Rafael Onyedika. It's now Foden on the left wing, plays it down the line for De Bruyne, who's made a run off the ball, and he puts a low ball into the near post, and put behind for a corner by Joel Adonez, taking no chances there, the Ecuadorian. And City take the corner quickly, short to Foden from De Bruyne. Returns it to De Bruyne in the corner of the box, has a shot, which deflects out towards the right-hand side to Nunes. Wants to go forward and will go forward. Outside the box on the right-hand side, he thought about the cross, but decides to turn backwards instead and find Bernardo Silva, who returns it to the former Sporting man of Matheus Nunes, born actually in Rio, in Brazil, but came through it. Sporting for 3 years, made over 100 appearances for Sporting under Ruben Amorim, scoring 8 goals under the now Manchester United head coach. It's just over 12 minutes in, still 0-0, no big chances for Manchester City. Josko Gvardiol goes into a more central position here with De Bruyne on the ball. Out to the left now to Foden, just outside the 18-yard box. Can he take on his fullback? He goes on the outside, fakes the first cross, then plays it back to De Bruyne. It's a short ball and it's poked away there. Just shown too much of it to the pass. And it's cleared straight to Edison, who will go forward to Akanji on halfway. And Manchester City can just build again. There'll be a lot of this, I think, tonight. Attack versus defence. So it's John Stones in the centre circle. Suffered a foot injury in December, and he's been out with an ankle injury at the moment. He was out for the last 6 before being back for the game last week against PSG. As De Bruyne looks for a ball into the box towards Foden, headed away by Adonez, only as far as Kovacic, who beats Jugla to the ball. And it's now with Haaland on the edge of the area, forward to Foden. On the left side of the box, he's going to go for an early shot. And it just goes past the near post. Full of power, that strike. But I think the goalkeeper would have had that covered. Simon Mignolet, who's not had any saves to do in the opening 13 minutes of the game. Whizzed wide of the near post there by Phil Foden, who's back in goal-scoring form now. Got 7 in his last 7 in the Premier League, 4 in a row at the moment. And that's for the first time in his career he scored in 4 Premier League games in a row. City have it back already in their own half with Mateo Kovacic, the 30-year-old, who scored 3 of his 7 Manchester City goals at the Etihad, a brace against Fulham earlier on this season in the start of October, and then one against Luton at the back end of last season. Just in front of the centre circle, it's Akanji, not being pressed at the moment. Jugla comes over and he goes to his left to Gvardiol. Now to Foden again, midway inside the Club Brugge half. Try to play down the line for the runner Stones, who's making a lot of those advanced runs from centre-back into like winger positions, and he's been dispossessed, unfortunately, for Manchester City. It's Onyedika now on the ball, the number 15. It's now back with Adonez, the right centre-back. Not many options in front of him. Goes to the right back of Saiz, who then goes for a clearance around the corner, and it's flicked into the middle there by Jugla to Yashari. Good football again from Club Brugge, and they work it out to the left wing here to Zolis, who will run at Nunes in the final third. Tries to play ball into the box, but Yashari had stopped the run, and unfortunately it looks like a really poor ball in the end there by Christos Zolis. Spent 3 years at Norwich, 30 appearances, 3 goals, none of them in the Premier League. This is his first ever season playing Champions League football. He actually turns 23 years of age tomorrow. Christos Zolis, the Greek winger. As it's De Bruyne going back into his own half here to Mateus Nunes, who's playing his 6th game in a row now at right back. As he will advance forward with the ball here, and he plays it to Bernardo Silva in the final third on that right-hand side again. Playing it back through into the box for Nunes towards the byline. He can put it across goal. It's parried by Mignolet. Picked up by Bernardo Silva. He's got it back to goal. Finds De Bruyne in the corner of the box on his left foot. Lifts it in. It's a free header away by Onyedika. But then back in by Stones. Another header by Bernardo Silva. Finds Gundogan, who will take the shot on. And he rolls it into the bottom left corner, but the flag's gone up. Ilkay Gundogan thought he'd got Manchester City in front. It would have been his 3rd goal of this Champions League campaign, but the flag denies him of that goal. So I thought De Bruyne put the ball in, headed it away, and then headed back forward there by John Stones, then glanced on by Bernardo Silva, and Ilkay Gundogan was just coming back from that offside position. Brilliant finish from the former German international, now retired from his international football, Ilkay Gundogan, turning 35 in October. So it's a Club Brugge free kick just inside their own 18-yard box, 16.5 minutes in. It'll be taken by their 36-year-old goalkeeper, Simon Mignolet, who spent 3 years at Sunderland and 6 years at Liverpool. Finds Van Aken, who heads it inside towards the Zolis. Can't quite find a teammate. It's now with Kovacic on halfway on this near side, being closed down all the way, and he's even had a little nibble there, the holding midfielder, Yashari. And it'll be a free kick for Manchester City, won there by Mateo Kovacic, who is back now playing regularly for Manchester City. Had a bit of time out injured between November and December, but he's now back playing regular football. Just his 3rd start, though, in the Champions League this season for Kovacic. The other 2 came in defeats against Sporting and PSG. So Kanji lifts out to the left to Foden, brilliantly brought down with the chest. And he goes back into Gavardiol, everyone behind the ball for Club Brugge. It's now the number 25, Akanji, on his 125th Manchester City appearance. He goes to his right to Nunes. It's now Bernardo Silva, got a bit of time on the ball here, the number 20. Cuts inside on that left foot and then plays it back to Nunes. It's De Bruyne, the captain for Manchester City tonight. Over 400 appearances now for the Blues, with over 100 goals scored. 16 of them in the Champions League. Just less than 18 minutes in, it's still 0-0 here at the Etihad. They have to win, and they have had the ball in the back of the net once through Gundogan, but disallowed for offside, and correctly so. It's Foden on that left wing again. Plays it inside to Gavardiol, a bit more of an angle for him. Goes to his right, one more to Akanji. About 30 yards from goal here. Not being pressed at the moment. Goes back out to the left-hand side here to Phil Foden. Finds Gavardiol. Keeps it moving across to the right-hand side here to Nunes. Touches loose, but he can keep it moving to De Bruyne, who returns it to Nunes, who both of them able to keep it away from Zolis. Nunes slipping it through in the box, cut out by Mekele. Almost found the run of Gundogan, and he can kick it off. Bernardo Silva throwing for Club Brugge. He's had a good start to the game, the centre-back, the 31-year-old, Brandon Mekele. He's played every minute so far this season in the Champions League for the Belgian champions. Throwing down the line by De Kuyper. Avoids Stones and headed backwards by Zolis. And it's now Van Aken. To De Kuyper, the left-back, who's going to go for a high ball into the middle of the park. It's well defended there by Onyedika with a header backwards to Adonis. It's now with the Ecuadorian centre-back. Joined in August 2022 from Independiente. De Kuyper. Back to Mekele in his own 18-yard box. Onyedika goes to the goalkeeper Mignolet in the 6-yard area. City pressing, but not getting too close to the ball at the moment. Onyedika around the corner, poor ball given to Foden, who now finds himself in the box. Back heels it to Gundogan, who will put a cross into the far post towards Erling Haaland. Lays it across the goal just behind De Bruyne and cleared away for Club Brugge. An almost chance for Manchester City there. Erling Haaland going for the more unselfish route, but not quite materialising in a goal for Pep Guardiola's side. There's Pep. There's now over 500 games in charge of Manchester City. That 500th game was away at Leicester in that win a month or so ago. Just one loss in the last 8 for Manchester City in all competitions, and that was against PSG last Wednesday. Foden tries to take on the full-back again, and he lifts it to the far post again, but it's over Erling Haaland, who will give chase to the ball and keep it in on the near side. Been chased down here by Mekele. Goes back to Nunes. Goes across into the middle of the park here to Akanji. 5 yards to his left to Kovacic, who shifts it back onto his right foot. He goes back out wide to Nunes. Now Bernardo Silva, everything to his left once again for the Manchester City number 20. Back inside to Nunes, 25 yards from goal. Try to find a bit of space for a possible cross. Finds Stones, who then goes back to De Bruyne, who's on the left foot and he's allowed to shoot, and it deflects off a Club Brugge defender, and then hooked away in the end by the right back, Joaquin Saiz. And it's going to be recycled back forward for City as that clearance fell straight back to Josko Gvardiol. And again, for City, they don't want this to become a game where it just becomes a frustration. They have Arsenal away at the weekend as well on Sunday. Then they've got FA Cup action, so they go from the Emirates, then Leyton Orient in the FA Cup the week after, and their next home game is against Newcastle on the 15th of February. As for Club Brugge, of course, this is a huge game, but in 2 games' time, they've also got a huge game themselves. Genk in the semi-final second leg of the Belgian Cup. They're 2-1 up from the first leg, so possible silverware on the cards for tonight's visitors. De Bruyne on the left wing gets the cross in towards Haaland. It's over him and headed away by De Kuyper. Only as far as Bernardo Silva on the edge of the box, who heads it across towards Stones, but it's cut out here by Yashari, who will drive forward with it here for Club Brugge, but he's well tackled by Kovacic on halfway. And City again can restart at the back with Manuel Akanji. Superb work there from Mateo Kovacic, and he had to get that right. And for City, they have thrown away 2+ goal leads in this season's competition. The only team to do so in 3 games in the single season was Rennes in the inaugural edition of the competition in the 55-56 season. So to give up 2+ goal leads 3 times is unheard of in the Champions League. They did it against Feyenoord at home when they were 3-0 up, and that ended 3-3. And then, of course, last week against PSG when they were 2-0 up and ended up being beat 4-2 in that one. You know, conceding 13 goals in the last 4 Champions League games. Manchester City, as Club Brugge try and play off the fact, Zolis with a push in the back from Nunes, midway side his own half on the near side. Free kick for Club Brugge. Sporting are now losing, and they're on the cusp of elimination if City end up going ahead in this game. That's because Dinamo Zagreb have took the lead in their game. As Club Brugge again play out from the back, it's Yashari, their holding midfielder, to the left back, De Kuyper. Back into the middle to Van Aken, the captain, being followed here by John Stones. Now to the right centre-back, just inside the 18-yard box of Joel Oradones. Tries to play down the line there, the right back, and it's been given away. De Bruyne pulls it across the edge of the box here to Bernardo Silva, whose shot is not deflected, I do not believe. And that's going to be a goal kick, I think. Given away there, I think, by the winger Talbi. And it fell to De Bruyne, who pulled it back. And then Bernardo Silva had the shot, and it came off Haaland, actually, which made it go further towards goal. I'm going to say, City were setting up for a corner. That was certainly a goal kick. So, goal kick for Club Brugge. Ordonez with a lifted ball just past the halfway line, but it's a free header for Akanji, flicked on by Kovacic and flicked up with the foot of Gundogan. Then Haaland into the path of De Bruyne, a left-footed shot early, and that is rising high over the crossbar by Kevin De Bruyne. Not quite the shot needed there from the now 33-year-old. Came through at Genk in Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne, from 1999 to 2012 when he left for Chelsea. He's played Club Brugge 10 times in his career, and like I say, just the 3 goals against them, and they all came in one game. That hat-trick for Genk in that 5-4 away win for them back in October 2011. "25 minutes in, still 0-0 at the Etihad. Manchester City have had a goal disallowed from Ilkay Gundogan for an offside call, which was correctly given. But Club Brugge have shown slight hints of a possible danger on the counter-attack. City, again, have got every Club Brugge player behind the ball here as Akanji assesses his options. It's now Stones back to Akanji, who will lift it out to Foden on the left-hand side. Controls it with his left boot as well. Goes back into Gvardiol. Then back once more to Akanji towards halfway. Forward to Kovacic. Then spread out to the right-hand side here to Nunes. Good play there again by Kovacic. It's Nunes laying it off here for Bernardo Silva on the right wing position. Trying to run at De Kuyper. Finds Nunes inside. Then back to Bernardo Silva, who wants to run forward with the ball. Ends up laying it backwards here to Stones. It's now De Bruyne. Still everyone behind the ball here for Club Brugge. Just showing how hard they're making it here for Manchester City. Almost 26 minutes in, we're still goalless at the Etihad Stadium as Manchester City are trying to avoid elimination from this competition in the league/group phase stage of it since 2013, when they were in a group with Real Madrid, Dortmund and Ajax. De Bruyne playing it to Gvardiol on the edge of the area, but he's got his back to goal and he lays it back off into De Bruyne, then forward down the line to Foden, back into De Bruyne on the far side for City, into the central part of the pitch here to John Stones, looking to go back out wide left to De Bruyne, and he finds him. Stones makes a run off the ball and then he's found once again. Decent football from City. Stones being forced towards the corner flag here by Talby. Ball goes back to Foden, then inside to Gvardiol. Wants to go forward again, but goes to his right a couple of yards to Kovacic. He's running forward, lays off for Haaland on the edge of the area. Can he find space for a shot? No, he can't. Works out to the left-hand side to Foden, who puts the cross in, and it's easily caught by Mignolet. Frustrated with himself there. Phil Foden. Haaland linking up the play nicely on the edge of the area, but again, that final product not quite good enough by Phil Foden. He scored 5 Champions League goals last season. He's failed to score in 3 of the 8 games he played in the competition. Failed to score against Red Star in both group stage games and also against Real Madrid in the quarter-final stage of the second leg. You might remember his goal in the first leg. Phil Foden, top left corner at the Bernabeu, an unbelievable goal from him. Like I say, he's just 3 goals away from 100 for Manchester City, and he's currently playing his 298th game for the club. There's Gundogan in the midfield, bit of battling going on. He can keep it away from the number 44 of Mekele and also the number 8 of Zolis. But still, 0-0 here. As obviously Club Brugge are unbeaten in their last 4 Champions League games, 2 wins, 2 draws. And while only once previously have they had a longer run without defeat within the same European Cup/Champions League campaign, they went 5 unbeaten between 1976 and 1977. But Club Brugge had never won away to English opposition in European competition in 14 previous attempts, 2 draws and 12 defeats, and that includes qualifying. Only Anderlecht with 19 games and Kiev with 15 have gone more games without a win over here in England in those European competitions. So heavily stacked against them, the odds here, Club Brugge, but they're holding their own in 28.5 minutes. We're still 0-0. City still have the ball, but they've got everyone in a Club Brugge shirt facing them as Kovacic has it. Goes to his right here to Nunes. Thinking about a ball to the far post. It's going to aim for Foden. He keeps it in with the chest here, just outside the 18-yard box at the moment. Going away from the Club Brugge goal, completing a quick 1-2 with Gvardiol. It's now with the former Leipzig defender again. It's with Akanji to Gvardiol. Then into the middle to Kovacic. Midway inside the Club Brugge half. Plays it into the path to his right here to Nunes. Out wide once more now to Bernardo Silva. Needs to try and make some magic happen. Nunes to Silva. De De Bruyne's making a run down the line, can't use him, he's straight offside. It's back inside to Nunes, who will drive forward with the ball just outside the 18-yard box at the moment. Finds De Bruyne, then back through towards Nunes, who can't quite get there ahead of Zollis, and he's pulled him down, and that'll be a free kick for Club Brugge. Well tracked and well defended there by Christos Zollis. He's got 7 league goals this season for Club Brugge. 4 of them came in one game in a 7-0 win against Sint-Truiden back in late November, but he's just scored 1 in his last 8 league games. The Greek winger. Mignolet clips it forward for Club Brugge. A header won by Stones brilliantly. And then Onyedika sends it out of play for a throw in midway side the Club Brugge half for City on the far side. As it's a Kanji in front of the centre circle at the moment. Playing it out to this near side to Bernardo Silva, who's nowhere near the Club Brugge goal. Kovacic to Stones, who finds the ball to Nunes in that right back role at the moment. It's now with Akanji, bringing it forward. Playing a pass to Gundogan into the tight space here to Stones, who works it out wide now to De Bruyne. Takes one touch and a second one, and crosses it with the third outside of the boot. Deflects up in the air, head away by Mekela. Headed back forward by Stones, down the line here to Bernardo Silva, who will keep it away from Yashari. Goes backwards to De Bruyne, just goes under his foot, but works its way to Nunes. So still on here, this attack from Manchester City, ticking over the 30th minute. We're still at 0-0, despite a disallowed goal from Ilkay Gundogan around 10 minutes ago. Gavardiol just lifting it out to the near side here to Nunes, about 10 yards inside the Club Brugge half. Lays it off here for De Bruyne. He's almost in a right-back position of his own here. Goes across into the centre circle to Akanji. He brings it out of the centre circle to advance forward here for the Sky Blues. Ball out to the left by Akanji. Brought down by Foden again, just outside the box at the moment. Now he enters it. Can't cross though. Turns backwards. Finds Gavardiol, who tries to go inside but gives it away to Jugla, the striker. Needs to be cleared here by Saiss. Goes to his goalkeeper Mignolet. Takes one touch and a second one and plays it back to the right back Saiss. Closed down by Kovacic, but can clear it long and high down the right-hand side. Free header for Akanji. Not kept in, though, by De Bruyne. And a throw-in on the far side for Club Brugge, about 10 yards away from the halfway line. City have won it back with Kovacic. Try to play it through for De Bruyne. Cut out by Mekela. And it's now with Onyedika to Yashari. Now Mekela again, bringing it forward from centre-back, getting away from Haaland, and releasing it on the halfway line here to Jugla. Now to the right to Van Aken. And it's well done again there by Club Brugge. It's with their number 15, Rafael Onyedika, who can play centre-back as well. He's making his 120th Club Brugge appearance. He's got 14 caps for Nigeria. Made his debut back in September 2022. And apparently Club Brugge have whacked a 20 million euros price tag on the 23-year-old Nigerian midfielder, who's still got it here for Club Brugge in his own half. Finds Talbi, the right winger. Now across the 18-yard box here to Adonis. Mekela to his left back here, De Kuiper. Not being closed down by Bernardo Silva, so he can play a long ball forward here. And it'll be given chase to here by Jugla, who's closing it down all the way, but it'll run through into the 18-yard box here for Edison. And it remains 0-0 as it is Girona who lead 1-0 against Arsenal. That means Arsenal stay 5th, so they are still in the top 8 as it stands. Akanji goes to his left here to John Stones, not being closed down at the moment. Works out to the far side now to Foden. Can he work across in? Only Haaland in the box at the moment. He tries to take on the right back there of Saiss, but he overruns it and loses it. And it's now with the full back. He goes down the line left-footed. He's naturally a left-back, whacking Saiss, but he's been playing right-back for the majority of this season. He's giving it away, trying to find Talbi. Now Gavardiol playing it in behind for Foden. On the left side of the box, cuts it back, but it's a rolled ball and it's not got enough power on it. Won't reach Haaland, dealt with by the Club Brugge defence. And it's now with their number 68, Talbi, into the space down the left-hand side here. And it'll be brought forward by their number 55, Maxim De Kuiper. Joined at the age of 8, back in 2008. And he's got the ball still here. And he goes backwards to Yashari, the Swiss holding midfielder, who is present at the last World Cup and Euros for Switzerland. Only 22 years of age. as they're in midway inside their own half with the right back here of Joel Adonis. He's now with the goalkeeper, Simon Mignolet, making his 39th Champions League appearance, 6 of them for Liverpool. Plays the ball forward to Van Aken, who heads it all the way back towards the edge of his box here to Yashari. He's now with the goalkeeper again of Mignolet. Takes a touch with his right foot in his all yellow kit tonight. And plays it to his right centre-back of Adonis. Lifts it down the right-hand side. Given chase to by Brugge, who can control it, but can't keep it in with the touch on the far side. Throwing for City. 10 minutes of the first half left. It's still 0-0, and City still need to win this game if they want to qualify. Simple as that. They cannot draw or lose, or they will be out of this year's Champions League. Gundogan coming over towards the left-hand side and playing a 1-2 with Foden. Will he get there ahead of the byline? He will, and he won't keep it in, though. Just overran it there, Phil Foden. And that'll be a goal kick for Club Brugge. Not bad link up there between Gundogan and Foden in the end. There's Manchester City come into this game off the back of a 6-game unbeaten run in the Premier League, beating likes of Chelsea, Ipswich, West Ham and Leicester. And then drawing at home to Everton and away to Brentford, a game where they also had a 2-0 lead in that one as well, didn't they, Manchester City? Last loss in the Premier League for the Blues was against Aston Villa, 2-1, back on the 21st of December. As Club Brugge have it in their own half. Zolis caught out in possession by Núñez, but De Bruyne can't quite flick it through for Haaland. And Club Brugge will try and counter-attack down the left-hand side. The left-back, De Kuiper, is in the final third. He's going to go for a cut-back to the edge of the area to Zolis, who will take on the shot. Cannons off Akanji. And away out to the Club Brugge right. Well, he'll be kept in by Talbot. One-on-one with Gvardiol, and he's going to run at him as well here. Couple of step-overs and lays it off to the edge of the area here to Onyedika, who on his left foot will fancy a shot towards goal, and that is a really poor shot, honestly. Aiming more towards the corner flag than the goal itself there by Rafael Onyedika, who's never scored in his Champions League career, and he's only scored the once so far this season in the league. Sent off in the league in September and also in the Champions League away at AC Milan, Onyedika. But another chance there for Club Brugge, getting away down the left-hand side that time around. It's Kovacic going out to the right-hand side here to Núñez, who keeps it in with a touch. Well, he just had to slightly backtrack there to keep it in. The Portuguese now made full-back. Kovacic in the centre circle. Out to the left it goes to Gvardiol. Back to it the 37th minute at the Etihad Stadium. It's still 0-0 between Manchester City and Club Brugge. Núñez out to Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne with that run inside towards the byline. Cuts it back. Is he caught as he crosses? No, he's not. And the cross doesn't find a blue shirt. That's now with Yashari for Club Brugge, who will go long towards their striker. And in behind it to Zolis. Ederson with the sweeper-keeper action. And he heads it away. And it's volleyed back forward by De Kuiper. And Ederson's still out from the diving header. And he just gets it away. Ederson. And it'll be given chase to by Haaland. But the referee stopped play. Not too sure why. Oh, an offside flag up, I think, from the long ball forward from Club Brugge, I assume. De Bruyne went for that cut back in the box. He knocked to the ground, but it was cut out by Yashari, and the referee allowed play to continue. And there was not an offside for Club Brugge because Zolis was in his own half. He was well dealt with by Ederson the first time, and then the second time as well when De Kuiper volleyed forward. PSG 3-0 up at Stuttgart, so Stuttgart's definitely out. Now sitting just one place below Manchester City, but would of course go even further behind Manchester City if Pep Guardiola's side take the lead in this game. It's his 93rd game in charge of Manchester City in the Champions League for Pep. 58 wins, 17 draws and 17 defeats in this competition. Bernardo Silva in the final third again on that right wing position, running at De Kuiper on that left foot and crossing it to the far post towards Erling Haaland, overhit and out for a goal kick. City still searching and still finding no answers at the moment. They've got to win this game. It's as simple as that. Club Brugge did draw their last game 0-0 in the Champions League at home to Juventus, so they are familiar to this scoreline. Simon Mignolet hurries it away for Club Brugge down their right-hand side where it's been kicked forward by Brugge. And he can find Talbot, the right winger, after a bit of fortunate luck bouncing off Gvardiol. He switches it out to the left to Zolis. The touch is brilliant in front of him. He's got De Kuyper in support of the fullback and he finds him and he wants the 1-2 in the box. It's cut out though by a diving and sliding Bernardo Silva. But it is a throw-in on this near side in the final third for Club Brugge, who would love a goal before the break, as we're 5.5 minutes away from half-time. Still with the away side in their own half with the centre-back Mekela. Like I say, for Club Brugge, they actually are yet to sit in first position in their league at the moment, despite being 3 points off top. They've actually not been top themselves at the end of a game week so far. Long ball forward though, and it's flicked on by Juglo, who's been doing a fantastic job at that tonight. And he finds Talby, who cuts into a central position here, keeping it away from Gavardio, but his pass hits his own man of Van Aken, sends it backwards, but it's kept alive here by Juglo, who will now find Yashari from a far left-footed, low-driven strike, but it's straight at Edison. And it's a save from the Brazilian, as it looks like Celtic have got 2 back themselves, and it's Aston Villa 2, Celtic 2 at Villa Park. Brilliant comeback from Brendan Rodgers' side. Yeah, 2 goals from Adam Eder, 2 minutes apart, just like Rodgers with his 2 goals in the 3rd minute and the 5th minute. And Arsenal have equalised from the penalty spot. Jorginho with the goal, 1-1 away to Girona. As here at the Etihad, it's still 0-0. And Manchester City have got the ball in their own half here with Gavardio. But Club Brugge showing plenty of signs of how they can hurt this City defence. It's Nunes who receives it from Gavardio. Then back out wide it goes again to Bernardo Silva. We've seen that pattern of play before. He's running at the fullback. He lays it off to the angle to De Bruyne, who slips over and he gives it straight to Yashari, who's waiting for the run of the De Kuyper, who will get on his bike and go from fullback. He's here on the ball now in the City half. Back inside to Van Aken. Then to De Kuyper again, who returns the ball towards the halfway line here to Zolis, who's going to keep it and go back once more again to Mekela, 31-year-old centre-half, who's made 3 appearances for Belgium in 2019 and 2020. Adonis, wanting to go forward, but forced to go back to the goalkeeper of Mignolet, who made over 100 appearances for Liverpool. And he lifts it out to the Club Brugge right, flicked on by the header of Van Aken, the captain, but no runners off the ball, and it's now through to Akanji. And City want this goal as quickly as possible. When they last played Club Brugge at home in their 4-1 win back in November 2021, they took the lead in the 15th minute through John Stones, but was pegged back 2 minutes later after an own goal from John Stones. They ended up winning that with 3 second-half goals from 3 players who aren't even at the club anymore, of Mahrez, Sterling and Jesus. City still have it. It's Akanji going here to Edison midway side the City half. Assisted recently, Edison, in that game against Chelsea with the long ball forward. It's his 5th Premier League assist of his career here. Is at right centre-back. It's John Stones on the ball. Nunes back inside here to Akanji. Just in front of the centre circle. Finding Gundogan in between the lines. Laying it off to his left here to Kovacic. Furthest wide's Foden, and he's been found here. Finds the ball inside now to Gavardio. Back down the line for De Bruyne. Gavardio again, midway side the Club Brugge half. Goes to his right to Kovacic, his Croatian teammate. Nunes out wide again to Bernardo Silva. De Kuyper getting tight. Bernardo Silva going backwards to Nunes to keep the ball ticking for Manchester City. Forced all the way back to Edison. Really good pressing from Club Brugge, who have drawn their last 2 games in a row in the league at the weekend against Kortrijk. 1-1 it was. And then they also drew 0-0 to Juventus in the last Champions League game last weekend. But Manchester City still out of the Champions League as it stands. A win is all that can take them through. Akanji on halfway, 90 seconds of the first half left to play. Stones 5 yards away from him, completes a 1-2. It's now with Akanji again. Kovacic out to the right side here to Nunes. Kovacic towards halfway, going to his left now to Akanji, who will stride forward with the ball and play it off to his left here to De Bruyne. It's now to Gavardio, about 40 yards away from goal. Into Kovacic, He's looking forward towards the edge of the box, lifting it to Gundogan. He takes it on the turn and his shot is blocked by Mekela and it will fall here to Van Aken, and Club Brugge could get on the counter-attack here once again. Out wide to the left to Juggler. Running at Nunes. Taking on Nunes. It's too easy and it's brilliant. Juggler in the box on the left-hand side puts it across towards Onyedika, and Club Brugge take the lead. And Manchester City are staring elimination right in the face here. And right before the break, Club Brugge deliver that hammer blow to Manchester City. They have defended really solidly and haven't looked half bad on the counter-attack. And that time, they punished Manchester City. A shot blocked in the box by Mekela meant the ball fell to Van Aken, who sent it out wide to the left-hand side. And it was too easy for Juggler to get past Nunes. You can just tell he's not a defender. He just dives in. It's too easy. He pulls it across. And then around 12 yards out, just towards the right-hand side of the box, he ghosts in alone. And Onyedika, with the first-time finish, he had to control it because it was bouncing. But he got over the ball and sent it beyond Henderson into the bottom right corner. And Nicky high inside have taken a famous lead at the Etihad. It's Manchester City 0, Club Brugge 1. Remember, Manchester City have to win anything less and they are out. So Manchester City now need 2 goals in the second half to save themselves from elimination. But what a goal on the break that was. And he's been fantastic tonight, the striker, Ferran Juggler. And that bit of skill to get away from Nunes was brilliant. Bernardo Silva tried to take on his fullback. Not once, but twice. Bernardo Silva, right-footed cross to the near post, straight into the hands of Mignolet. And it does look like Club Brugge will go into half-time with the lead, and they will. The referee, Jose Maria Sanchez, blows for half-time, and Pep Guardiola has got a lot of work to do and a lot of working out to do at half-time, as here at the Etihad Stadium it is Manchester City 0. Club Brugge 1. And based off their form this season, you can't say it's much of a shock, unfortunately, for Manchester City. They had an early chance in the game, Club Brugge, with Zolis breaking down that City, down the Club Brugge left-hand side, and a ball across the box was scrambled away in the end for Club Brugge. And then not long after, Manchester City had a cross of their own that was pretty well dealt with in the end, and it was just a little bit too much for City to do in terms of breaking down the Club Brugge defence, who pretty much had 11 men behind the ball every time City had the possession, and but they were able to break through and score in the first half. Manchester City in the 17th minute, it was Gundogan with a tidy little finish into the bottom left corner, but as it was glanced on by Bernardo Silva, Gundogan was still coming back from an offside position, which meant the game stayed at 0-0. But Manchester City have just not been able to make too many clear-cut chances, really not making Mignolet work at all in the Club Brugge goal. And on the break, on the 45th minute, Club Brugge got their lead. They were able to break. The first shot blocked by Mekela from Gundogan meant that Van Aken could start the counter. He sent it out to the left to Ferran Juggler, who took on Nunes like he wasn't even there, and he found himself in the 18-yard box on the left-hand side, pulled it across, took a slight deflection off Akanji, found its way through to the late runner of Onyedika, and scoring his first ever Champions League goal. He gave Club Brugge a lead, and unfortunately for Manchester City, they have got their work cut out at half-time. At the Etihad Stadium, it's Manchester City 0, Club Brugge 1. I mean, at 0-0, it was looking like a difficult job for Manchester City just to get the 1 goal, but now they've got to get the 2. Manchester City could be out. And then the next focus will be trying to get into this competition for next year, which isn't a given with the form they're in and with the form that other clubs around them are in. This could be a dismal looking season for Manchester City, out of the League Cup, being beat by Spurs away from home. Still in the FA Cup, got a 4th round fixture against Leyton Orient, but the Champions League looks like elimination. They will be nowhere near the league title come the end of the season. They'll be lucky to get top 4. This could be bleak for Manchester City, it really could be. And it's a big second half needed for the Sky Blues if they want to progress through in this competition. Because like we say, a win takes them through. No matter what happens in any other games, City win and they're through. But they're not winning at the moment. They're doing the absolute opposite and they are behind. And like I say, Club Brugge have never won away to English opposition in 14 previous attempts. They have lost 12 and drew the other 2. So this would be a real historic night for Club Brugge if they could win here at the Etihad Stadium against the current 4 in a row Premier League champions, Manchester City. But we knew Club Brugge weren't going to be a walkover for Manchester City. They're 20 unbeaten in all competitions, unbeaten in their last 4 in the Champions League, drawing with Juventus, beating Sporting, drawing with Celtic and beating Aston Villa at home. So Pep Guardiola would have been well aware that this wasn't going to be easy, but to concede right on half-time is always the worst time to concede, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall at the Etihad just to hear if Manchester City can turn it around with what Pep Guardiola is saying in there, because I'm sure it won't be a calm team talk from Pep. We know how emotive he can be, and I think he's going to have to be if he wants to get a reaction from his players. I mean, on the bench, City don't have a lot going on, really. They've got Jack Grealish, who, of course, scored his first Champions League goal of the season last week against PSG. They've got Savinho as well, who's only got 1 goal so far for Manchester City. That was away against Leicester on 29th of December. They've got James McAtee, who has shown glimpses of real quality when he's played for City this season. Hat-trick against Salford, 1 goal in the second game of the Champions League away at Bratislava, and also scoring in the Champions League in the Premier League off the bench against Ipswich. They've got Nico O'Reilly as well, 19-year-old, quite a tall central midfielder who can cause issues. He also got his first City goal in that FA Cup win against Salford. So in terms of attacking options, they've not got a lot going on, unfortunately, Manchester City. Bob looks like he's returning shortly from his fractured leg. Of course, Rodri's not back until the end of the season. In terms of defensive options, Ake and Diaz are out with hamstring and muscle issues. On their own cases. Doku also injured at the moment as well, and then of course they couldn't register their new signings of Mamouche, Kusanov and Reis, the Brazilian defender. So yeah, they are not exactly full strength Manchester City in terms of their entire squad. Of course, their starting 11 has got a lot of strength. I'm not saying that for 1 second, but just slightly light off the bench in terms of real experience and quality. But that is something they're going to have to overcome in this second half. They can't feel sorry for themselves here, Manchester City. They've got to go out and just put on a performance, which means they deserve to go into this playoffs round in the Champions League. They can't just think they should be there just based off, their history in this competition, especially, of course, the last 10 years of when Manchester City have been in the Champions League. Just because you've won it in 2023, that doesn't mean you're just guaranteed to go through. But it would be seriously embarrassing if they do throw this away, Manchester City, especially after getting 7 points from their opening 3 games in the competition as well. Just one point from their last 5 at the moment, as it stands. Not the best of looks for Manchester City. We'll go through the other 17 games in the Champions League. Of course, I've seen on Twitter earlier today about all the ACCAs that have been put on at the moment of bet builders and ACCAs that have got to about 100,000 to 1 because they've just bet on every single Champions League game tonight. But we'll go through them all, and the goals galore over in the Netherlands. PSV are leading Liverpool by 3 goals to 2. And 4 of the 5 goals come after the 35th minute. Liverpool have rotated, definitely rotated. It's not a full strength side, far from it. And all the senior players have been left at home. It's the likes of Van Dijk, Salah, Diaz, McAllister, Szoboszlai. They've all been left at home. So they're losing 3-2, but not the biggest deal at all for Liverpool. But buying a 1-0 up against Slovan Bratislava, an early goal from Thomas Muller. Dortmund are 2-0 up at home to Shakhtar Donetsk, 2 goals from Garasi. And it's 1-0 to Leverkusen at Sparta Prague. Florian Wirtz with the goal, absolute domination from Leverkusen in that first half. 17 shots, 5 on target, and the 1 goal. Arsenal were behind, and now they lead away at Girona. Arnaut Danjuma scored in the 28th minute, but a penalty from Jorginho and a goal from open play from Nwaneri means Arsenal lead in their game. Barcelona, Atalanta are 0-0. Real Madrid lead away at Brest. Rodrigo with a goal just before the half-hour mark, despite Brest having more shots than Real Madrid. And then, of course, in this game, City currently losing by a goal to nil at the Etihad. Young Boys and Red Star is 0-0. Lille lead final 2-1, took the lead early on, then were pegged back and then took the lead once again just before the break. And Juventus at home are trailing to Benfica. Pavlidis with the goal, and for Benfica they need the win just to make sure they definitely finish in those playoff places from that 9th place to 24th. Aston Villa were 2-0 up in 5 minutes. Rodgers in the 3rd minute, and in the 5th minute he scored, but then 2 quick goals from Celtic meant they got back in it at 2-2. Adam Eder in the 36th minute and the 38th minute. So cracking game there at Villa Park between 2 very historic clubs. Zagreb lead against AC Milan. Martin Batterina with the goal in the 19th minute, and AC Milan have had Yunus Musa sent off 5 minutes before half time. Inter, though, on the other hand, are winning their game at the San Siro at home to Monaco, who've also got a man sent off. 2 goals from Lautaro Martinez. And then 4 more games left. Sturm Graz are beating Leipzig 1-0. Leipzig have had a nightmare run in this competition. 8 games, just the 1 win in 7 defeats. Really, really bad from RB Leipzig, who you thought would be one of those teams kind of up towards the playoff spots as a minimum. And another poor showing from another Red Bull side. They've been poor in this Champions League. RB Salzburg are at home and they trail 3-0 at half-time to Atletico Madrid. His son, Giuliano Simeone, gave him the lead in the 5th minute, and then a brace from Griezmann have them with a 3-goal lead, and that does mean Atletico Madrid will finish in the top 8 and go straight through to the last 16. Sporting at home to Bologna. It's Bologna who lead. Tommaso Pobega with the goal, with Bologna's only shot on target. And the last game to talk about is Stuttgart, who were looking for a positive result tonight, and that would have meant they could have possibly finished in the playoff spots, but it seems like that will not happen as PSG are beating them by 3-0. Bradley Barcola started the scoring in the 6th minute, and then 2 from Ousmane Dembele mean that PSG are safely through, and unfortunately Stuttgart are finding themselves out of this year's Champions League. So they are the results and the scores from the other 17 matches in the Champions League tonight. But the second half of this game will be getting back underway in a couple of moments' time, where Manchester City have got a lot of work to do if they want to stay in this competition. Would it exactly be the worst thing in the world for City to get knocked out? Possibly not, because realistically, if they're to get through to the playoff round, is it even a guarantee Manchester City get to the quarter-final stage? Do they even get out of the playoff, stage of the competition? They might not even get any further than the playoffs, because over a 2-leg game, I think anyone would fancy playing Manchester City at the moment. And if they were knocked out of the Champions League, it would just leave full focus to the FA Cup and the Premier League, which is probably more achievable hopes for City to get top 4 in the Premier League and to try and win the the FA Cup. I think the Champions League is just asking a bit too much of Manchester City this year, but maybe commercially and financially, being knocked out of the Champions League at this stage could have a little bit of an effect on the finances for Manchester City in terms of profits made and lost in terms of money, in terms of competition money. But the second half will be getting underway shortly. We'll see if Manchester City make any changes. For Club Brugge, it'll just be more of the same. That's what Nicky Hayen will be asking for, the 44-year-old manager of Club Brugge. Retired in 2014, spent a year out in Saudi as an assistant between 2014 and 2015, but then spent a year in Wales as a manager and director of Harver Ford West between 2021 and 2022. So a really unique kind of upbringing into the coaching game for the Club Brugge manager, Nicky Hayen. Like I say, spending just over a year over in Wales. Only picked up 1 defeat in his first 14 as Club Brugge manager. And that's his 101st goal by his team under his leadership. But still, at the moment, it's Manchester City 0, Club Brugge 1. It's going to be a very spicy second half, I think, here. Because City will be going for it. They'll be doing all they can to try and get not just one goal, because they need two. It's amazing how things can change. Like I say, Manchester City haven't been knocked out in the league/group phase of the Champions League since 2013. 2013, 2014, it was the last 16 exit, I believe, to Barcelona, and then another last 16 exit to Barcelona in the 14-15 season. Then in the 15-16 season, they reached their first semi-final, being knocked out by Real Madrid, 1-0 in aggregate. 16-17 season, Pep's first season, knocked out the last 16 to Monaco. Season after that, season 17-18 was quarter-final to Liverpool. Season after that was another quarter-final exit to Spurs, and then another quarter-final exit to Lyon during the COVID time. And then they reached their first final in 2021 when they were beaten 1-0 by Chelsea. And then it was another semi-final to Real Madrid in the 21-22 season. I remember that very dramatic late goals from Rodrigo to send the game to extra time, which then they went on to win. And they ended up winning it eventually in 2023 against Inter Milan, another 1-0 game. And then last season knocked out on penalties by Real Madrid. So it's not all been sunshine and roses for City in this competition. As they're showing the goals here from the Villa Celtic game, the Rodgers first is a beauty into the top right corner. If that is his first of the two, I'm not sure if it is. And they're going to show a Celtic goal. Adam Eder with one of them lashing it into the roof of the net. I'm assuming that's the equaliser as they go off and celebrate towards the travelling Celtic fans. So Pep Guardiola's back on his seat in the dugout for Manchester City. You can already see the scratch marks on his forehead. And there will be a change for City. No messing around. Ilkay Gundogan is off for Savinho. Yet to score in the Champions League. He was subbed off at half-time himself, the Brazilian winger, against PSG. Just got 14 professional club goals in his career, the 20-year-old. You could really do with adding to that within this second half. So City kick off, kicking right to left, Club Brugge left to right. City need 2 goals or more to win this game, or they are out of the Champions League. It is as simple as that. They trail after a goal right before half-time by Club Brugge and their central midfielder, Rafael Onyedika. But City won't shy away from the challenge. They've had to come back from behind many times in big games, at this ground especially. And they'll be fancying themselves to do the same again as we're underway. And it's Savinho taking up a left-wing position to start the second half. He's going to run directly at the full-back, take it towards the corner flag and cross it early and win a corner. It's more direct straight away from City with the introduction of Savinho winning a corner there off the right-back, whacking Saiss, who's making his 30th Club Brugge appearance of his career. All of them coming this season. This is his first season playing senior football for this number 65. As the corner goes in, it's headed away to the edge of the box here to Kovacic. It goes back to the halfway line to Nunes, who was at fault for the first goal, allowing Jugla to go forward and get beyond him into the 18-yard box, and he was the assist maker for the goal in the end. As City have been forced all the way back to Ederson on the edge of the box, goes out to the right here to Mateus Nunes. He could easily be replaced, because City do have Rico Lewis on the bench if they want to call upon the young Englishman. It's now with Akanji on the halfway line. No press at the moment from Club Brugge. Goes to his right here to Stones. It's now Kovacic in a little pocket of space in the midfield, forcing it forward, going into the middle of the park here to Bernardo Silva, who then lifts it out to the left-hand side to Savinho, who controls it brilliantly. On that stronger left foot, goes on the outside and wins another corner. Again, kicking it off Joaquin Saiss, and he takes it quickly and short to De Bruyne, who will get onto his right foot, and he'll cross it into the far post. John Stones with the header, and he's put it wide. That is a huge chance, and he's got to be taking it. He's inside the 6-yard box. He's all alone. He tried to head it across goal to the far post, and he's just put it an inch wide. What a chance for John Stones to score his 20th ever Manchester City goal. But he's put it wide, but he's simply got to score. He's already got one in this season's Champions League in game week 3 against Sparta Prague in the 5-0 home win. And he's got to be scoring so early on into the second half as well. But it's better from Manchester City already. Actually looked like they could force a save from Mignolet, despite that one just edging itself wide. But for City, that is their 54th goal they've conceded as well this season, which is heavy numbers, very heavy numbers. No, they've conceded 30 in the Premier League already this season. They only conceded 34 in the entirety of last season. As we're just less than 3 minutes into the second half, it's still Manchester City 0, Club Brugge 1, and it is the Blues with the ball, with their number 25, Manuel Akanji. Missed 3 games in December, the Swiss centre-back, and one of them was in that 2-0 away defeat to Juventus. Kovacic out to the right-hand side here with 2 John Stones, who's taken up a right-back position at the moment. It's now with Bernardo Silva, 10 yards away from the halfway line. Plenty of time on the ball for him. Again, not being closed down by, at the moment. Plays it into the path of Akanji on this near side. Savinho driving away from Saiss and playing it to the halfway line again to Kovacic. They've got to try and keep it moving. Here, Manchester City, don't slow the game down too much. That will suit Club Brugge to a T. Foden receives it on the right-hand side. Onto his left foot. Clipping it in towards Gvardiol, who can head it across here towards Savinho. Dealt with by Adonis, who can kick it behind for a throw-in right next to the corner flag. Just seems a bit more lively from Manchester City. Realising they're having to pick up the pace here. Bernardo Silva. First time cross goes in. Comes off the head of Yashari. And it's now forward here to Zolis for Club Brugge. Lays it off behind him here. And played back to Yashari. It's now to the goalkeeper of Mignolet, who takes one touch with it. And the play's been stopped because there's a second ball on the pitch. Referee stop play. And it'll be Club Brugge to have it when the game restarts. Long ball for Club Brugge, back underway. It's headed down by Kanji, midway side zone half. Gvardiol kicks it up in the air towards the centre circle. It's headed on by Foden, chested down by Haaland, who can get away from Yashari. Play it out to the left here to De Bruyne. He's overhit it, but it will be kept in though by De Bruyne, who gets it onto that right foot, tries to play it through for the run of Savinho. Cut out there by Saiss. Throw-in taken quickly by De Bruyne to Gvardiol. Then into Kovacic. Now Akanji, everyone behind the ball for Club Brugge, just 5 minutes over in the second half, and it's still 1-0 to the Belgian champions. Savinho running at Saiss, trying on the outside of him. Can't quite work it away from the fullback, but he keeps it alive here, the number 26, off the bench at half-time. Plays into Gvardiol, back to goal on the edge of the area. Swings it to his right here to Stones. It's now Foden on the edge of the area. Laying it off to Nunes, gets it across. It's a poor ball, kicked away by Mekele. And a throw in for City on the far side, right next to the corner flag. Stones, Foden, back to Stones on the City right-hand side. Foden, back to Stones again. Club Brugge forcing City backwards all the time. It's brilliant pressing at the moment. As Akanji lays it off to his left here to Savinho in the final third. He is left-footed and he wants to get on that left foot a lot. Plays it towards De Bruyne. Cut out though here for Club Brugge. And it's played forward to Zolis. Counters on, but the touch goes behind him and City now can break themselves with Foden. Need to pick up the pace if they can. Out wide to the right to Bernardo Silva. Now into the middle to Kovacic. 25 yards from goal. Plays it to his left to De Bruyne. Curls it in the box towards Haaland. Headed away by Mekele. All as far as Kovacic, who takes it on the touch and with the shot. And it's eventually blocked and cleared by Mekele. Straight to Akanji. City go again. Bernardo Silva, he's got the overlap of Nunes, who's making a run in the box. It's back to Bernardo Silva, it deflects to him, and now with Foden! And it's struck wide of the goal, high and wide, and it's a goal kick for Club Brugge, just less than 7 minutes into the second half. It's Club Brugge with the lead still. Phil Foden just did not get his boot around the ball at all. Phil Foden now on the 10 goals for this season in all competitions. 3 in the Champions League all in a row. From game week 3 to game week 5 against Bratislava, Sparta Prague and Sporting Lisbon. City have it back on halfway with Akanji, Stones and Kovacic making a triangle and working it around Jugla. Kovacic bringing it forward. He's not going to stop driving Kovacic on the edge of the box. He'll go for the shot and he puts it into the bottom left corner. Individual brilliance from Kovacic has got City back level. Sometimes it just takes an individual to take it upon themselves to change a game. That's what Kovacic has done. And they are now all square at 1-1. Still need one more. But that one back will give City the confidence to get that second. He received on the halfway line, Kovacic, and he just wasn't being closed down. He just continued to drive with the ball. Literally no one got close until he had the shot on the edge of the box. And he wasn't exactly the hardest of hit balls I've ever seen. But he just places it into that bottom left corner. Kind of took Mignolet by surprise. The accuracy of the shot. And City have the game at 1-1. Kovacic with the goal. It's his first Champions League goal for Manchester City in his 75th appearance in the competition. And City just need one to get themselves in those playoff spots. It's Manchester City 1, Club Brugge 1. What a moment of brilliance that is from Mateo Kovacic. We know he's got that in the locker. And that's something that City needed badly. And they've got it. Still not enough though to qualify. Still need another. Club Brugge have it with Mekela, the left centre-back, into the middle to Yashari. Still in their own half at the moment as Haaland tracks back. Just try to stop Yashari playing it forward, but he can't do so. Yashari gets the ball, and now it's in behind for Zolis, who's in the box, brought down by Gvardiol. Still has it alive here, Zolis. He's fell on the ball. He's laid off for Van Aken. He tries to lift it over Edison. Big save, no flag. Goes up from the linesman. Oh, does go in up in the end, but the referee plays advantage as City try and break. But the play's gone back. I think Guardiola's been booked by the referee for trying to demonstrate with the referee that the flag had gone up. But the referee knew the flag had gone up, but the referee tried to play advantage for Manchester City. And he wasn't offside. Was not offside. The ball played in behind there. I think it was by the fullback De Kuiper to Zolis. Zolis kind of got in a bit of a muddle, ended up laying it off of Van Aken, who tried to lift it over Edison. And it was saved, but he wasn't offside there, Zolis. Not at all. Guardiola booked for demonstrating to the referee that the flag was up. The referee knew the flag was up. He tried to play City the advantage. In the end, we're back underway and Club Brugge have it. 10 minutes gone in the second half. City 1, Club Brugge 1. Here at the Etihad Stadium. 7th biggest ground in England. And they are still trying to build on that. Current building work going on at the Etihad as Van Aken plays a 1-2 with Zolis. And he gets a shot off in the box. It's saved by Edison. Back out towards Zolis, who can't quite keep it away from Núñez. The only thing wrong with that shot there from Christos Zolis was the fact it was right at Edison. If it was a bit to the side of him, it would have been a much more difficult task for Edison to keep it out. But he ended up palming it away. Not out of danger. Not the best save by Edison, but he kept it out of the back of the net. So City have a throw in it right back with Matheus Núñez. He started 6 of the 8 Champions League games this season. Núñez's throw and goes straight to a Club Brugge man of De Kuiper, who is tackled there by Bernardo Silva. It deflects all the way back to Edison, who throws it out quickly to Gvardiol, left back, who can keep it away from Talbi. And then De Bruyne goes forward to Savinho on halfway. Tries to take on Talbi, tackled by him, but the ball runs through here to De Bruyne. And City slow it down just within their own half here. Bernardo Silva in the centre circle, keeping it away from Jugla. De Bruyne on this near side. Goes back to Kovacic. He's now on the halfway line again with Akanji. Going to his right to Stones. Plenty of time on the ball here for the number 5 for Manchester City, who got the assist for the goal. He's the one who worked it to Kovacic, I believe. Kovacic, everyone behind the ball for Club Brugge. Goes to his right to Stones. He'll bring it forward 30 yards from goal. Furthest wide here is Núñez. Everything to his left as he looks to try and take on De Kuiper. It's now back inside towards Foden, who's playing in a more central-ish area. Kind of more inside as he has it on his left foot here. Finds Kovacic in the more central area. Lifts it in towards Haaland in the box, who controls it with the chest. Keeps it alive, and the last touch comes off Mekela. No. Yes, it does. Corner for City, limping away slightly from that challenge, Mekela, after dealing with Haaland. No complaints, so he wasn't asking for a foul line or anything. Might have been a slight accidental clash of legs, but it's City who have the resulting corner on the far side. It's It's Foden with the in-swinging option with his left foot, and then De Bruyne with the out-swinging right foot. Which will it be? De Bruyne puts his right arm in the air, and he'll be the one to deliver it into the box towards Gvardiol. Header away there by Mekela. But it's only as far as Kovacic works out to the left of Bernardo Silva. Works it back in the box straight away. He goes beyond Akanji, headed by Van Aken. But then picked back up by Kovacic on the edge of the area. He goes down, no foul. Savinho almost wins it back, but cleared by Adonis in the end. Gvardiol heads it back forward, beats Jugla to it. Savinho goes back to Bernardo Silva on this near side in front of the City subs who are warming up. Likes of Grealish and O'Reilly and Lewis, I think I saw there on the touchline. It's now with Akanji. Midway inside the Club Brugge half. Goes 10 yards to his right here to Stones. Now furthest wide right is De Bruyne. Will he go right foot or left footed? He fancies the left foot. Edge of the box. He's going to go for the shot. Spilt by Mignolet. But it'll be dealt with here by Club Brugge. His left back of De Kuiper, who goes down the line for Van Aken. Into the middle now to Jugla. Back heels it into Zolis. This is brilliant football from Club Brugge and they're away. Talby making a run in behind. Will he play it to him? Still with Zolis. Edge of the box. Left-footed shot. He just drags it wide. What an opportunity for Club Brugge to retake the lead. He's gone the selfish way about it there, Christos Zolis. He had Talby to his right. Decided to go on his own. 20 yards out. Goes for the shot towards the bottom right corner. It's just a yard away. Huge let-off for City, who are being reminded constantly that Club Brugge have got a real dangerous counter-attack in them. Hence why they scored the first goal and went 1-0 up. Half an hour left, still 1-1 in this game. City now attack. Nunes into Kovacic, 25 yards out. Thought about the shot. Deflected past though, reaches Foden. Back out wide left to Savinho. Just outside the box. Plays it short to Foden again. Lifts it back through for Savinho. Headed away as far as Kevin De Bruyne, who drags it wide himself. 12 yards out. Left-footed. Bouncing ball goes wide of the post. Frustrated with himself there. The number 17. Looking for his first Champions League goal of the season. Scored 2 goals in the Champions League last season, De Bruyne, both in the knockout stages to Copenhagen and Real Madrid. It's Club Brugge go long. It's headed on by Van Aken, who gets the return header there from Jugla. Van Aken on the halfway line, keeps it away from Savinho. Then out to the right here to Joaquin Saiz. Now Jugla at right wing here, the striker. Back to Saiz, then inside to Shahari, who goes for a ball in behind towards Talby, and it's almost reached him in the box. Well dealt with by Edison, coming out of his goal to collect it. Almost there for Shemsdine Talby, the young 19-year-old winger, making his third start in the competition. His previous 2 starts were against Juventus and AC Milan. It's with Bernardo Silva back out to the right wing here to Nunes in the final third, thinking about a cross. But goes to the angle instead to Bernardo Silva. It's now Foden 25 yards out. Kovacic, who's been so pivotal for City in this second half. No more so because of his goal. Savinho in behind for Gvardiol. Angles tight. Pulls it across and it's an own goal. City lead and City are in the playoff spots in the Champions League. The final touch comes off the Ecuadorian Joel Adonis. And the biggest sigh of relief goes around the whole ground at Manchester City. Not just Pep Guardiola, but the fans and the players. For the first time tonight, City are out of the elimination zone in the Champions League. Savinho has been a fantastic half-time change. He played a ball into the box in between 2 of the Club Brugge defenders, and the angle was tight, so the only option for Gvardiol was to pull it across goal and sliding in to try and avoid Erling Haaland having a tap in. Adonis has instead tapped it into his own goal. And Pep Guardiola, in frustration and delight, had a few kicks at the water bottle stand for City. And one of their main attacking threats provides the main source of the goal. Josko Gvardiol again. He won't go down as his, but he's the main reason why it hit the back of the net. His ball across deflects in, and it's City 2, Club Brugge 1. City lead for the first time tonight. And they are out of the elimination zone. At the moment, City will qualify out of the league phase. It's not been pretty. If anything, it's been really, really ugly. But at the moment, they find themselves through. Not in the top 8. They can't even start to think about that. But they are into the playoff spot. And they'll go into 23rd and they'll knock out Sporting Lisbon, I believe. Hold on, we've got a few name mix-ups here. Let's have a look. Who's actually where? So they'll knock out Stuttgart, Manchester City. And they'll go above Sporting as well. So Sporting will be in that final playoff spot in 24th. City will be in 23rd and Club Brugge will be 22nd. So Club Brugge will still be... Actually, City will go above Club Brugge as well on goal difference. So City go 22nd, Club Brugge go 23rd, Sporting 24th, and Stuttgart in 25th, who are being knocked out. And it doesn't look like Stuttgart will be able to get any points from their game because they're 4-0 down to PSG. So it does look like as long as City win tonight, both teams will go through. Club Brugge don't exactly need a point. Obviously, they're going for it. You can tell they are, but they don't need it. They'll still go through with Manchester City. So too much going on, honestly. This is why the Champions League changed from the group stage to this league phase. It does bring a bit more jeopardy for some of these clubs who obviously think they can get away with, just walking through this sort of part of the competition. But as it's been shown here with Manchester City, there's no such thing as just walking through. You've got to earn it. City's 3 wins this season in the Champions League, if they win tonight, would have come against Bratislava, Sparta Prague, and then Club Brugge. Not exactly huge wins. They've drawn, obviously, against Inter Milan and Feyenoord, and then defeats to Sporting, Juventus and PSG all away from home as Club Brugge give it away with Yashari. And it's now De Bruyne getting the ball from Haaland and playing it through for Foden, right side of the box. Once on his left foot, won't be allowed to. Mekela with some good strong defending there as Yashari tries to bring it away, and he does do so. It's now with Jugla in the centre circle. They want the equaliser here, Club Brugge. They're not going to settle for this defeat. Talby on the right wing there, number 68. Running at Gvardiol towards the final third. Not got loads of support with him. Has to go back here to the right back of Saiss. Talby again. Getting away from Gvardiol and Kovacic, but the poke away from De Bruyne finds Bernardo Silva, and then Gvardiol takes over. Midway side the City half. It's now Kovacic. Goes to his right to De Bruyne. Touched it towards Foden. Can't quite beat Mekela to it. And Zolis gets taken down by Nunez. Not seen as a foul by the referee. Not a strong enough challenge. And City relax the ball. And they are leading 2-1 with 25 minutes to play. Plus added on time. Definitely a nervy night for Manchester City, but it looks like they're just getting over that awful feeling of possibly being knocked out with the fact they are now in the lead. Akanji on the near side, bringing it forward as well, and he's going to keep going. He's in the left wing position now. Akanji being followed by Van Aken. Goes backwards though to Savinho, now into the centre circle to Stones. These players on the ball for City who are deepest, they have loads of time on the ball. Obviously, Club Brugge don't want to press it and get pulled out of position. Akanji, just to the left side of the pitch here for City. Furthest left Gvardiol, and he finds him. The assist maker for the own goal for the second to give City the lead. City haven't lost here. Within 90 minutes in the Champions League at home for 33 games before tonight. 28 wins and 5 draws. Last time they lost within 90 minutes was back against Lyon in September 2018. Savinho goes on the outside towards the byline, lifts the ball into the box, but it's well caught by Mignolet, who's going to go for a kick forward. It's a big kick into the City half. Up towards Jugla, the striker, who can't quite control it away from Akanji and Stones. And City have defended it well. It's now with Ederson forward to Akanji, who has time to look forward and play a pass calmly to Kovacic, because City will want a third, like Aston Villa have scored. It's Aston Villa 3, Celtic 2. Villa back in the lead there at Villa Park, as we've got a quarter of the game left here at the Etihad Stadium, and it's City 2, Club Brugge 1, but they were trailing just before the break, City. They've turned it around in the second half. But just like City, but Club Brugge have won plenty of titles in the last 4 seasons. They've won 4 of the last 5 league titles, Club Brugge. The only one they didn't win was in the 22-23 season when they finished 4th position. They had a massive gap where they didn't win any leagues, Club Brugge, from the 04-05 season to the 15-16 season. So it's just more recently that they've had real success winning those league titles. And it looks like they're going to make a triple change here, Club Brugge, very shortly. If you are enjoying this commentary, make sure you like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. They're not making those changes yet, Club Brugge, but they're certainly getting ready. It's with Mignolet. Sweeps it out to the left here to Arden Yashari, the holding midfielder. Signed a new contract extension this month to keep him stay at the club till 2029. Mekela, the centre-back, on halfway at the moment. And then switch out, it goes to Talby. Controls it as well, just outside the box on the right side. He enters the box, onto that right foot, goes for the near post, and it's had to be palmed away by Edison. Club Brugge just aren't going away. Pep Guardiola not happy. Too easy there, beating Gvardiol to get the shot away. He's looked lively all night though, Shemsdine Talby, the Belgian winger. Making just his 10th start of the season. It's going to be an in-swinger from the left back of De Kuiper. It's a deep one to the far post where it's a free header back across goal to the far post, but no one's there in a Club Brugge shirt and volleyed away by the right boot of De Bruyne. Just over 20 minutes left to play. And it's a Club Brugge triple change. The first one will see their number 68 of the right winger, Shemsdine Talby, to be brought off and be replaced by number 21, Michael Skoras. Brought in from last season from Lech Poznan, just making his third ever Champions League appearance and his previous two this season. He's been booked in both. And I think the second change will see the striker come off. And I think he's been brilliant tonight. The striker, Ferran Jugler, not had a lot to play off, but he's given nightmares to Stones and Akanji. He's been replaced, the number 9, and he'll be brought off and be replaced by the number 17 of Romeo Vermont. And the third change, we'll see Christos Zolis be replaced by number 10, Hugo Vetlason. They brought in from Bodo Glimt last summer as we're back underway and De Bruyne has won it back for City. Kovacic, 25 yards out, he's going to give him time to shoot, and it's hit the roof of the net. Aiming for the top right corner, he's asking for the corner, he won't get it. But again, Kovacic having the game of his life second half. He was the one who won it back there. Of Onyedika, who got Club Brugge in the lead right before half-time. Did take a slight deflection. Don't know how the referee's not seen that. That should have been a corner. But it's a goal kick. City won't cry too much about it. So Club Brugge have it with their right back, Joaquin Saiz. So they've changed their front three, Club Brugge. Out to the right wing here. Chance for the number 21, Michael Skoras. It's now Vetlason. Skoras with a cross into the box. It's a teasing one. Stones had to win the header. Cleared by Bernardo Silva on the edge of the box. Helped on by De Bruyne. Can't be kept alive by Haaland. It's now on the Club Brugge left-hand side now. With De Kuiper, the left-back. Inside to Yashari. Back once more to the halfway line to Mekela. Across it goes to the right-back, Saiz. It's now Skoras looking for a ball into the box. It's controlled. There's a turn by the number 17, but it's cleared in the end by Nunes. Substitute almost getting on the app there, Romeo Vermont, and it's given away there by Adonis. And it can be De Bruyne to bring it forward. Plenty of Club Brugge shirts back, but he can work it to Haaland. It's now Foden out left towards De Bruyne. Well cut out there by the substitute Skoras. But again, Adonis... the holding midfielder gives it away. Of Onyedika, and City are back in possession in the Club Brugge half. It's a hectic game, this. Plenty going on at all times. City have it on the halfway line now with Manuel Akanji. Just try to steady the ship ever so slightly. Stones out to the right side here to Foden. Now Nunes played too far in front of him. Cheaply given away there by Manchester City. Poor. Needs to be better than that. Van Aken for Club Brugge. They try and play out from the back. It's Yashari in a left-back position. Goes back to Mekela. to Yashari again, takes it on the turn, but Haaland's putting him under pressure and he gets it. Haaland to make it 3, big save Mignolet on the rebound. Savinho with a shot off the line. Brilliant defending by Brandon Mekele, and City should have put the game to bed. One back in the box by Erling Haaland, out-muscling Arden Yashari. Definitely no foul. Haaland running in on goal. Couldn't quite get it beyond Mignolet. Decent save from the 36-year-old. Then on the rebound, just inside the box, Savinho's tried to play it in the back of the net. But on the cover, Brandon Mekele stops the ball going in. And it remains Manchester City 2, Club Brugge 1. It's now with Kovacic. Goes to his left there to Gvardiol. It's now Akanji just in front of the centre circle for the Blues. It's now Bernardo Silva for Manchester City. Searching for his 70th Manchester City goal. Yet to score in the season's Champions League. Have 2 in the Premier League though. Both at home, both in December to Forest and Everton. Kovacic takes it on the turn. Tries to play it to his left to De Bruyne. Cut out though by Saiss for Club Brugge. Then back to his goalkeeper Mignolet, who just gets rid. Up towards Romeo Vermant, who will chase it. And the current Belgian under-21 international will not beat Stones to it. And it's City back with possession with 16 minutes to go, plus added on time. Savinho on the left wing, back to the halfway line to number 24, Josko Gvardiol, who we know can play left back and centre back. That's the roles he played at the Euros for Croatia after they were knocked out. In the group stage. It's with Akanji in the Manchester City half. City's home form this season have been pretty decent in the Premier League. 7 wins, 2 in a row against Chelsea and West Ham. Lost twice though, and they were pretty poor tasting results. Obviously that late turnaround by Manchester United, but then that battering by Spurs towards the end of November. Went on that 4-game losing streak in the Premier League as well, when they were beaten by Bournemouth, Brighton, Spurs and Liverpool between the start of November and the start of December. But yeah, in the last 4 Champions League games for City, they had been beat 13-6 if you put all the scores together from the last 4 Champions League games, and they took the lead in 3 of them against Sporting, Feyenoord and PSG and didn't win any of them. Their last Champions League win against Sparta Prague was 98 days ago for Manchester City. As De Bruyne has it just in front of the centre circle, looking out towards the City far side. He works it to Nunes, midway inside the Club Brugge half. Leaves it for De Bruyne to retake over again. Bernardo Silva out to De Bruyne again. Not loads of movement for him going in front of him. So has to go back to Stones. Akanji to this near side to Savinho, isolated with the fullback, but decides to go inside to Akanji. It's now Foden. He's looked a lot more lively, just playing off the winger in that tucked in inside position. Haaland deciding to get involved, linking up the plate. It's now Matheus Nunes playing it right back for City. And he has done for the last 6 games now. Akanji finds Gvardiol, back he goes to Kovacic. City just trying to control the game as best as possible. Stones clipping out to the left to Savinho, takes it on the chest and then finishes into the corner of the goal, and City have the game wrapped up and they're through into the playoff round of the Champions League. And off the bench at half-time, he has been the one who's really tilted this game into Manchester City's favour. Savinho has his first Champions League goal of his career, and it's certainly not a bad one. Brilliant ball in behind by Stones, but the touch off his chest to get it in front of him, and then slot it into the near post beyond Mignolet. You can be proud of that one. It's only his second Manchester City goal. But just midway inside the Club Brugge half, Stones saw the Savinho run from the left wing into the 18-yard box, chested it in front of him, got in front of the substitute of Michael Skoras, And right-footed, near post, he's just got it under Mignolet. It's a really nice goal. And based off this second half performance, you've got to say City do deserve this. Maybe not based on their general performances within the whole of this league phase, but tonight they had to win, and in the second half they have certainly made sure they are winning, and it looks like they will win, pick up those 3 points, and have themselves qualified for the next round. It's not quite the top 8, but the top 24 will do. It's Manchester City 3, Club Brugge 1. But whoever Club Brugge take on in the next round of the Champions League in the playoff round, it shouldn't be seen as a walkover. They've played some really, good-looking football tonight at times against this Manchester City defence. Van Aken for Club Brugge has it. As they are midway inside the City half, it's going to cross it on Yedika to Yashara, who's going to take a shot on himself. And from around 25 yards out, it's blazed over the crossbar. And away it goes. City are going to make a change of their own. Looks like Rico Lewis will come on at some point. As they're just above the City bench of the men out at the moment injured. Ake, Rodri, Diaz all sat with each other. Obviously they'll be looking to return as quickly as possible. As for the last 10 minutes plus added on time, Rico Lewis will be introduced at some point. But the ball needs to go out of play first as Haaland heads on the City goal kick. Headed away though by Ordonez for Club Brugge. To Van Aken, who lays it off to his left hip. To De Kuiper, he's going to go for a switch out to the right wing towards Skoras, headed away though by Gavardiol. Towards the halfway line now to Savinho, tries to knock it around the full back, comes off the Club Brugge number 65 of Joaquin Saiz, and he'll go out of play and City can make the change, and they're going to give a rest to the king of Kevin De Bruyne. Not scored tonight, but has been as dangerous as ever, as dangerous looking as ever, and he'll be replaced by the number 82 of Rico Lewis, who's one appearance away from 50 in the Premier League. He had started 6 of the previous 7 Champions League games. Off the bench the last 2. He came on at half-time in the last one against PSG. So De Bruyne's night's work is complete. And Rico Lewis comes on for the last 10 minutes, plus added on time. So City have it on the halfway line with Manuel Akanji. Loads of time on the ball for the former Dortmund man, 29 years of age now. Gavardiol around the corner for Lewis, who's taken up a left-sided position here. In the final third, been forced away from goal. Goes back to Gavardiol. 9 minutes to go here at the Etihad Stadium. 3 goals in the second half for City have put them ahead in this game. 2 goals clear of Club Brugge. Akanji in the centre circle. Being closed down here by Vermont. Has to go back here to Stones in the City half. Then back once more to Edison. Been decent at that throughout the night. Club Brugge forcing Manchester City backwards. More often than not. Edison, who was injured for the Copa America in the summer. And it's not exactly been the out-and-out number 1 this season for City. He's just about starting to get that title back. He's played 5 of the last 6 now for City, but there was a moment in time throughout December and a bit of January where it was Stefan Ortega who was starting a lot of the games for Manchester City. Thank you to everyone who still stuck around during the second half. I hope you enjoyed this live commentary of Manchester City against Club Brugge in the Champions League. It's Phil Foden almost in the right-back position here within his own half. Try to help the build-up here. Goes back to Edison in the 18-yard box. It's now with Akanji at left centre-back. Absolutely no pressure from any Club Brugge player to make him try and play any quicker here. Bernardo Silva now has took over the captain's armband from De Bruyne, who was just substituted off a couple of minutes ago. Club Brugge, those supporters can certainly be proud of their performance for sure in this game. I think they've been brilliant overall. Just the quality of City have just been a bit too much for them. As Club Brugge are trying to make sure they remain in the competition. It's a lot tighter than it looks, thanks to City's goal difference. That's why they're pretty safe to go through. But on the goal difference, it's still pretty much Club Brugge. It's in Club Brugge's hands, thankfully for them. The Dynamo Zagreb are 2-1 up. Savinho's in the box on the left-hand side. Tries to go across the far post. It avoids Haaland. Kept alive here by Nunes on the right wing position, keeping it away from De Kuiper. But yeah, if Dynamo Zagreb score 4 more goals, then Club Brugge go out. Because Club Brugge currently take up that final playoff spot. Like I say, Club Brugge need to score 4 more goals. Dynamo Zagreb need to score 4 more goals against a 10-man AC Milan in 10 minutes to go through. So I very much doubt that will happen. So Club Brugge will be going through to the playoff round by the skin of their teeth, as it stands. And this will also be 3 wins out of 3 for City against Club Brugge. Beat them twice in the group stage in 2021. And when City first took on Club Brugge in 2021, it was Philippe Clement who was in charge, who is now manager of Rangers. John Stones to Rico Lewis. Back to Akanji on halfway. Bernardo Silva sitting in between the 2 centre-backs and going out to the right here to the number 47, Phil Foden. Bernardo Silva on halfway very much took all the sting out of the game. That third goal for City by Savinho in the 77th minute. Club Brugge know that they can't get anything from the game now. And City know they don't really need to strain themselves to get a fourth. But for Club Brugge, some of the players in their team they've got, like I said, the likes of Simon Mignolet. I feel like the older centre-back, Brandon Mekele, has been really good. Played his whole career in Belgium. Also been impressed with the goal scorer, Rafael Onyedika, who's got 14 caps for Nigeria. Alongside him as well, the other holding midfielder, Arden Yashari, he's been really good. He's got 2 Swiss appearances, both in 2022 in September and December. And then, of course, the ever-present captain, Jans Van Aken. 23 appearances for his country, Belgium, for the captain. Did go to Euro 2020 and World Cup 2022. Jans Van Aken, who's got a contract until 2027. Spent 4 years coming through at PSV as well in the Netherlands. Gvardiol on the left wing, finding Savinho. Back to Gvardiol on halfway. Then back once more to Akanji. Like I say, as a commentator, you try and make a game sound as exciting as possible, but the excitement's almost at 0% now because City have done the job they needed despite going 1-0 down and making it a lot more tenser than it should have been in the Etihad Stadium tonight. Akanji on the halfway line, City just knocking it about between mainly the centre-backs and the central midfielders, occasionally getting it into a more advanced position. Gvardiol going back to Akanji once again. Because for City, of course, Haaland's dropped all the way between the centre-backs just to get a touch of the ball here because the game's become a walking standstill. Because for City, like I say, they want Champions League football for next year as well. The last time they finished outside the top 4 in the Premier League was back in 2010. So it's been a while since City haven't played or haven't made Champions League football, they might be helped with the fact with the European coefficient points. England in the Premier League might be awarded the 5th place position for Champions League football, which could come to City's aid as we head towards the end of the season in May. But Club Brugge still making sure they are qualifying for that playoff round, still sat in 24th. Of course, that also includes the fact that Club Brugge can't concede anymore, because if they concede more, that obviously worsens their goal difference, and then it could mean Zagreb have a chance of overtaking them. Gvardiol, less than 2 minutes to play here at the Etihad. Both teams know how this game will end. And to be fair, Club Brugge have played well here away from home, but they haven't quite played that well away from home in the league, surprisingly. They've played 11 league games away from home and only won 6. And they've lost 2, and they both came in the first 2 league away games they had this season against Genk and Standard Liège. But they are unbeaten in their last 15 in the league, with 10 wins and 5 draws. Gvardiol on halfway on this near side, playing it inside as Savino's made a little run, but his touch has gone back towards his own goal, and he's just laid it off here to Akanji, ticking over the 89th minute here, and it's still City who lead despite trailing right before half-time from the goal from Rafael Onyedika, scoring his first ever Champions League goal, his second of the season. He's now got the same amount of goals as red cards for this season. Onyedika sent off in the league in September and also against Milan in game week 3 of the Champions League. Kovacic, who got the goal scoring underway with his brilliant solo run, currently has the ball within his own half. It's now the number 82, Rico Lewis, who's got 5 England caps, got man of the match on his debut back in November 2023. 80th appearance for City for Rico Lewis. He joined the club at the age of 8. No starts, though, in his last 3 Premier League games for the 20-year-old. As we're about to hit the 90th minute, and the referee knows the game. The referee knows the game. Usually, in a normal game, we probably would have had 3 minutes added on, I'd say, because we've had 3 goals, the stoppages with the celebrations, and, you know, the substitutions made. We'd probably usually get 3 minutes added on, but the referee's added just the 1 minute. As already, before the whistle's blown, Pep Guardiola's already having a little cuddle and a conversation with the Club Brugge manager of Nicky Hyant, who's only 44 years of age, and his team have come here and they've played decent football. City's quality have just shone through in the attacking third, but overall, I've been really impressed with the way they've played, and it's not exactly a bad result for Club Brugge. They don't really care because they're through as well into the playoff spot. So even though they were going to lose this game, I don't think they'll give a care in the world. City look for a fourth. They just speed up their attack. Haaland can't quite work it through into the box for Rico Lewis, but it is one back by Haaland, and Foden will let fly, and it's saved by Mignolet, just getting down low to his left there, almost adding a fourth there. Phil Foden to try and add to his goal scoring form as the referee blows the whistle, and it is delights for both. Manchester City scrape through, so do Club Brugge. Both of these two teams will be playing in the Champions League playoff round as they are 2 of the 24 teams who are through to the next stages of this competition. It's a huge success for Club Brugge. The last time they were in the Champions League, they did reach the last 16 themselves, but were beaten 7-1 in aggregate by Benfica. But they won't be focusing on that at all. They'll be focusing on the fact that they've got through to the playoff round in this new Champions League 36-team league phase. In the end, Club Brugge finish in that final spot. Club Brugge finish in 24th points, going through on goal difference ahead of Dinamo Zagreb. Sporting Lisbon finishing 23rd on 11 points with a 1+ goal difference, and City finish in 22nd with 11 points, and their goal difference is positive by 4. So it all comes down to goal difference in the end, but both Manchester City and Club Brugge have got themselves through into that playoff round. For Manchester City, they probably would have been aiming for the top 8 at the start of this competition, but as the competition has gone on And the more the results have gone against the Blues, the more they accepted the fact they just need to get through whichever way possible. And they have in the end tonight. They were dominating the first half, just like the second half, but they went behind right before the break. Rafael Onyedika with the goal set up by the Spanish striker Ferran Jugla. And then in the second half, Guardiola made a half-time change. Gundogan off for Savinho, Gundogan had a goal in the first half, but that was chalked off at 0-0. But Savinho came on, became a lot more direct, and really changed the game. The first City goal came in the 53rd minute. Mateo Kovacic with a solo run from the halfway line and burying it into the bottom left corner from the edge of the area. City got themselves in front with just less than half an hour to go. Gvardiol with the assist, playing it across goal. The last touch came off Joel Adones, the Ecuadorian centre-back for Club Brugge, and it gave City a lead. And then with 13 minutes to go, Savinho scores his first Champions League goal, assisted by John Stones, a brilliant run in the box, found by the English centre-back, buried it into the near post. Not savable for Simon Mignolet, and it gave City that third and that barrier just to relax and know that somehow they have got themselves through to the knockout playoff round of the Champions League. And that kicks off in February. It starts on Tuesday, the 11th February. I think the draw for the playoff round is coming up on Friday, so the likes of City and Club Brugge will know their fate at the end of this week of who they'll be taking on in that playoff round. And yeah, it's City who go through with Club Brugge, but they did it the stressful way. We'll quickly go through the other results here and just see who've gone through. Great commentaries, mate. Thank you very much. If you did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe before you go. As around the grounds, as all games were played on this Wednesday night. We've not quite got full time for all the games, but we'll just go through what the scores are at the moment. So PSV still lead Liverpool 3-2 with 2 minutes to go. Bayern are winning 3-1 in added on time against Slovan Bratislava. 3-1 also for Dortmund against Shakhtar Donetsk in extra time. Leverkusen 2-0 up against Sparta Prague. Arsenal still holding on to their 2-1 win away at Girona. Barcelona and Atalanta are 2-2 at the moment. That's going into added on time. Brest and Real Madrid is Brest 0, Real Madrid 3. Bellingham on the score sheet with a Rodrigo brace. Here it's ended full time. City 3, Club Brugge 1. Young Boys being beat at home to Red Star Belgrade. Lille are winning 6-1 against Feyenoord. Lille have got themselves into the top 8 of the Champions League. That is brilliant for them. And a 6-1 win against a Feyenoord side that aren't the worst at all. And then Juventus beaten 2-0 at home to Benfica. Not exactly the result Thiago Motta would have wanted. Villa still leads Celtic 3-2. Zagreb winning 2-1 at home to Milan, down to 10 men, but not enough for them to qualify, unfortunately, for Dinamo Zagreb. Inter Milan 3-0 up against 10-man Monaco. Sturm Graz have beaten RB Leipzig 1-0. RB Salzburg beaten at home 4-1 to Atletico Madrid. Sporting and Bologna's 1-1. And Stuttgart got the 1 goal against PSG, but that was too many for them because at the other end they've conceded 4, and Ousmane Dembele has scored a hat-trick within that. So they are the current results around the grounds in this final Champions League match day. Hope you have enjoyed that. That'll be the end of this commentary. Make sure you like and subscribe if you have not already. For City, the objective tonight was simple. It was win or they face elimination. They did go behind as well before half-time in this game, but a second-half performance which deserved the 3 points. Up the tempo, up the pace, scored the 3 goals, got the 3 points, and City, by the skin of their teeth, qualify for the playoff round of the Champions League alongside their opposition, Club Brugge United, who have done a fantastic job to get themselves through as well in that final 24th spot of the league table phase. And here at the Etihad Stadium in this late January fixture, it is finished. Manchester City 3, Club Brugge 1.